Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 87 of the Xbox Hall Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by Cameron.
Hello.
And Keo.
Hello, everyone.
This week, we're going to talk about, well, there's fuck all news, to be honest. It's pretty quiet out there at the moment. So there's probably no huge amount to talk about. But we've got a couple of good community questions. We've been playing quite a few games. So there should be some good fans. And as always, we're doing the show live on Twitch. Come say hi. Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. We've got Bulbasaur and David and Char in the chat. Come say hi, hang out, shit post, tell us your worst joke. If you were one of our patrons, you would have got all the terrible jokes we were just telling before the show started. So enjoy that. But first, a surprise. Thank you to Bulbasaur for sending in the lyrics for this. I have modified them slightly, but we have a last-minute song of the week that I put together. So take it away.
You start the game with a measly whip. You're getting more after every trip. Hope you don't mind 20-minute grinds. That's what it is. A vampire survivors. I ignored garlic because I thought it was crummy. But then I started me earning my money. I changed my mind. The garlic's fine. 20 hours in, it's vampire survivors.
I know. I don't know the song name.
I have a feeling I know what it is, but I could be wrong. Oh, I think David's got it.
Yeah.
Was it by
I was
David?
going to say, is it called Great Balls of Fire?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great
Okay.
Balls
Yeah,
of Fire
actually.
is the song. Yes,
Damn
it is.
Yeah.
All right, I knew that then.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
The only thing of that song I can remember is "Goodness Gracious, Great Balls of Fire."
I mean, that is the lyric, yes.
But it just sounds like one of those songs that is 100% going to be a song with a different title name.
There's a classic movie with the same name about Jerry Lee Lewis. It's really, really good. You go and watch it. Yeah, if you could ever find it anywhere these days.
That's the name of the song. Yes, David, yes.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing how often
Congratulations.
the chorus shows up as the title of the song.
Oh, not when you listen to the music I listen to.
No, okay, fair. That's yeah, fair, very fair. All right, well, I guess we'll get straight into it then.
All right.
With our community questions. So we got one here from our question ask extraordinaire, Mr. Isaac Logic Dad, who says, "Hey guys, I just completed McPixel 3 and enjoyed it. The game is shitty graphics, but they're done that way intentionally to allow them to do some very silly things. What other games have you enjoyed in spite of their unappealing graphics or design? Thanks for taking my question." Thank you for asking it, Isaac. We greatly appreciate it.
Oh man.
I didn't have an answer to this for a very long time. It's taken me all week to think of it. And I suddenly thought of the thing that inspired me to like MMOs, believe it or not. It was Final Fantasy XI. How much time have we got to talk about Final Fantasy
boy.
XI?
No, boycott,
On Xbox
boycott,
360.
boycott.
Hey, it's on Xbox. It's not the PlayStation.
Damn it.
We're not talking about that version. So Final Fantasy XI is both it looks terrible on the Xbox 360 and its gameplay is horrendous.
Yes.
And even 6 months into playing it, I was still learning the content and learning how to do different things. And if I was stepped away for a couple of weeks and come back, I'd learn even new things. I'd max out my character at level 99. And then it goes into eye level. I'd never ever seen eye level before. And then going into eye level, I'm like, right, so I'm just getting my gear leveled up. It's like light level, really, in
Mhm,
Destiny. You're getting your eye level up and up and up. And then I look at individual stats of the equipment, and there's a grade system in the stats of the equipment to make the equipment even better after that point as well. I had no idea what's going on with this game. And that was like in the last couple of weeks of me playing it to beat like the final thing that I needed to beat. I could not beat it until that point. They started to add like things like trusts and stuff like that into the game, which were NPC equivalents of having actual people with you to actually finish it by yourself. And yeah, so I did that whole game solo, and I don't know, it's kind of, in the end, it's actually probably my favorite. It will probably maybe second favorite Final Fantasy now, because I spent so much time
Really?
learning the mechanics behind it. I did move eventually because of progression crossed from the 360 to the PC, you could play on PC and still get the content done, and then go back to the 360 and talk to an NPC that was just on 360 to unlock the achievements for it.
Right.
Which was
I
really
remember
lucky.
that. Yeah.
But it's just something that it just sticks with me. I love the music, everything about that game now. But if you tried to pick that up and just play the game, you would have the worst time in the world. Looks great on PC, looks heaps better on PC, but yeah, just the systems in that game just make you not want to start it. So
We've come a long way since Final Fantasy 11, to be fair.
Yeah.
I love the idea of it. I always wish I'd played it, but I know that it would have been, a nightmare.
2 questions.
I wish I finished it. Sorry.
First question is, what is the best Final Fantasy then, if you said that was the second one?
Well, I would actually have to probably say now the other MMO.
Yeah.
14.
Which
14
is 14.
was built on the bones of 11. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going on the classic stuff, I would say one of my first Final Fantasies, Final Fantasy 8, it would be my favorite in terms of that era. But I think so much stuff has gone into 14 that I'd just be like, that's it, I think, for now. I mean, the new one could overtake that if I actually finish the game, but yeah, so
second thing is, are you aware of what Stockholm Syndrome is?
Yes. And look, I refrained while talking about it to say I didn't want to say battered wife syndrome because that just sounds terrible. And that's I couldn't think of that.
Stockholm
that
syndrome,
phrase, but I'm just like, what is the word? And I'm like, no, it's not that. I can't say that.
Stockholm syndrome on one hand, sunk costs on the other.
Exactly.
You're like, well, I put so much time into it, it can't be
yeah.
bad, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, the I could only think of the worst possible phrasing of that. But yes, I have heard of that, and yes, that is a problem, and it is why it is probably still, the lost love, I guess you could say.
So
I'm never going back to that game.
I really like this question because, like, graphics is something I don't really care about in gaming. Like, when I got asked this question, the first thing that popped into my mind was human fall flat. I can definitely see that. Yeah, you don't need the best graphics or anything to create a very fun experience. And I could say this with a whole bunch of different indies, for example. As long as the game is fun, it's fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to have the very best graphics unless you're aiming for a particular audience, I would say. But games like Human Fall Flat, those base Unity model kind of games, as long as your gameplay loop's good, that's all I care about, essentially. I know, Matt, do you have any that pop up to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the same page, right? Like, I think that so much of what I play is not graphics based anyway. So I'm usually there for the narrative, and then maybe the gameplay, and then probably the music, and then maybe the graphics.
You know what? If this question was flipped on its head and was about UI and UX instead, that's where I would be a bit more unforgiving.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's part of.
I mean, technically, it says design in the question.
Design. I mean, that's part of design, I guess.
So if you've got something that's real bad, you can use that.
I mean, the only problem I would have with a game is if the UI and the UX is really bad, and I didn't know what I was doing, or it was essentially unusable. Graphics at the end of the day, as long as the game is fun, it's going to be 100% okay.
Well, what's your example for UI then?
That's a hard one to think off the bat. I'm trying to think of something that's unresponsive, but it doesn't really feel common these days. Does that make sense?
I mean, so many things are built in common engines these days with similar UI elements. They kind of got it down for the most part, right? I do remember when Elden Ring came out, and there was that whole thing where
I was just thinking about that.
Right, there's that amazing image of the thing. It was like Elden Ring if it was made by Ubisoft or whatever, and it has a million icons on the screen and a mini map and all this shit and
There was I don't know if he was the UI designer, but I saw somebody who did a post about Elden Ring last night that worked on Elden Ring. or maybe it was reviewed Elden Ring, and it was he got like the best compliment about it, and then he got called a racist and all that for criticizing. Okay, this is the thing. Elden Ring is a great game, right?
Yeah, it's
But
incredible.
its UI is, not really. I wouldn't say the UI is good for like the common kind of.
I mean, it's minimal
player.
in the same way
Yeah.
that most of those games are, right? Like
It's a design choice, though.
in this, yeah, 100%. Like it's not like that bad design. It is
Yeah.
very much like it, or like they didn't fuck it up. They very much did what they intended to
Yeah.
do with it.
But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
some players you could make the argument that like there's not enough there to go off and all that, even if it is a design choice.
Well-
it might not be how some players want to play the game.
UI experience, I guess Final Fantasy is both a curse and a, pleasure to deal with, but Stranger Paradise is terrible as well.
Yeah.
It's just got like you collect all the weapons and you just have hundreds of weapons in a list and you have to manually, when it came out, individually go through and mark and delete everything individually you didn't want.
Oh, okay. I actually know, I know what the answer is for this one. It's the original Mass Effect. The menu system in that game is fucked. It's so like the equipment system is really bad. You like the same sort of thing where it's like, oh, you're suddenly over encumbered. You have too many items. Go through and delete everything individually to make sure you get under the item limit. It was so bad that it was actually one of the biggest things that they fixed. It was that and the Mako that they fixed in the remaster. It's just completely unusable.
I'm trying.
No, I didn't mind the Mako in the original one, but I
mean,
haven't played the Legendary. I don't know what it's like.
Yeah, it was fine for the most part, I think. But I think people just got up in arms about it because you keep flipping it.
Oh, right. Okay,
A
cool.
lot of people seem to be calling out GTA Online, which
Yeah,
it was like just
Yeah.
very unresponsive, I would say.
yeah, I could definitely say that. One of the ones for like bad graphics. I mean, like I don't usually, like I said, I don't really mind, but Deadly Premonition, which is the kind of game I always talk about, right? It is the perfect storm of a game that is actually bad, like design wise, gameplay wise. The only thing going for it is the narrative and kind of the sort of cult classic, like The Room style ridiculousness that just kind of brings it all together in a way that's like it's like utterly unique. But that game looks like shit. It looks really fucking bad. And so it's like it is kind of a pain to play. But I'm playing one of the games I'm playing like right now has literally like stick figures.
Yeah, okay. Have you played, like Char's saying, Benedict Fox? Have you guys played that?
Yeah, Benedict Fox was bad. It was like, but I think Benedict Fox was just a bad game, unfortunately, because I was really excited for it. But like,
We all wanted to play that game, and
I think the
played it is
the
because of
bugs
people's
is-
issues. So
well, the bugs are bad, but I think the design. There's also big problems in the design itself that goes beyond this question. I think.
I've said at least twice this week to co-workers, Benedict Fox is the game that I would love to be able to recommend to people, but I just can't. Like,
Yeah.
with the amount of like, I enjoyed my experience, but it was buggy, and those bugs did take me out of the immersion. And
Yeah.
it would otherwise been a very solid game.
Yeah, like the bugs are definitely part of it. I think that there's also I have serious gameplay design issues with something that allows you to try and solve a puzzle when you don't have all the elements to solve it. And the only way you can know if you have all the elements is to either try to solve it or hit the auto solve button. And if you try to auto solve without all the elements that you need, it'll tell you, oh, hey, you don't have everything. I was like, well, why didn't you just tell me that in the first place so I don't waste my time?
Yeah.
and you're not a Monkey Island fan, are you?
Well, I love Monkey Island, right? I love
Okay.
Monkey Island, but that's also like, but that's what that game is, right? That is a point-and-click adventure from a long time ago, where it's like use the rubber chicken with a pulley in it on everything until it works.
Yeah. The other problem with Benedict Fox is for a Metroidvania, it does a very bad job at it.
Yes,
like there's a lot of like you can see the inspiration there, but like I got lost for a good hour and like having to go. You have to go to like the office, and there's like no indication whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Like I played another Metroidvania this week that it kind of pulls a little bit in that sort of similar area, which is like I'll do a bit of compare and contrast as well because I've been playing quite a few of them recently. But yeah,
I think I know the one you're talking about. I want to hear about it because I did start and I thought it was from like the half an hour I've put into it so far. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll get into it, but yeah, Isaac, we've completely gone off on a massive tangent. But I think the overall consensus is that we I played McPixel 3 recently. I talked about it. And that game is fucking hilarious. And so like with game development budgets being what they are at the moment, I'm fine with the game looking like a PS2 game if it plays well and has a good story. I don't really give a shit what games look like for the most part. Not to say that I don't appreciate beautiful art. Like when I played through Ni no Kuni, the original. The art was done by Studio Ghibli. Like it was incredible. Like I loved the design. I played through Okami recently. Even for a PlayStation 2 game, I love the style of that. Ghost Trick just came back, and that has a whole interesting style to it that I'm definitely going to talk about when I play that.
Yeah.
So like I can definitely appreciate design and definitely appreciate good graphics, and Final Fantasy 16. You see the videos of it; it looks amazing.
Oh, it's a good looking game. Yeah.
But but the thing is, I'm spectacle only works when it's supported by everything else. I feel like graphics are a nice thing to add on top.
And also you need to stick away from MMOs.
Yeah, well,
that bites in the backside so much.
Not doing any of that.
All right, cool. Do you want me to go to the next one?
Let's go to the next one.
All right. So, do you ever find when you're playing a backlog or a game you've put off for a while that you skip the dialogue story and focus strictly on the gameplay? I'm playing the first Watch Dogs after diving in a while back, and I'm almost through Act 1. I couldn't tell you what was going on, but I'm enjoying the gameplay and mechanics. That's from Natalator, pardon me.
The Natolinator himself. Yeah. I mean, first of all, how fucking dare you, Natolinator? First of all, this goes against every fiber of my being. How dare you play a game?
You're doing good. You want a cookie?
The way you want to play a game. How fucking dare you? I mean, I'll just say no. 90% of the time, I'm there for the story, so I'm sitting through most of the cutscenes. That doesn't mean that I every side quest I read all the quest log bullshit or hey, you found my pan and I'm gonna go on a soliloquy. I'm I just skip. I don't care. I mean, I'm mostly here for the main story, or if the story is really good on the side quest stuff. But I don't tend to skip cutscenes. I tend to read most of the stuff, but there it gets to a stage where you're okay, I just kind of this world isn't compelling enough, or it's not all that interesting, or this game is just poorly made or poorly voice acted or whatever.
It kind of depends though for me. If I put, say, 20% into a game, I would probably start it back from scratch and then go for the story and all that. Just, that might be a 5-act game and I've done Act 1. I'm going to go back to it so I can remember the story in that regard. If I'm going back and I've, say, done 80% of the achievements and all that, I'm not going to replay for the story. I'm just going to be there for the gameplay and clean up.
I mean, sure, but in my mind, if you've done 80% of the game, you probably finished the story and just didn't do the grindy shit at the end of it. That doesn't really matter that much, right?
But even if I went halfway and I wasn't enjoying the story, I would just skip. Unless the game has its claws in me and I'm really interested in the story, I'm there for the gameplay. Gameplay is always going to be first for me.
That's fair.
But it's very contextual. It could be a case of, you could be playing an indie where story, quotation marks, is just, very bare bones, and you could read you could look at a 2-minute review online and get the gist of what the story is.
Sure.
If it's something if it's an RPG, and I got a third of the way in, I would be completely starting again. Otherwise, I'm going to be complete. This is the thing with RPGs and quest design as well. I find that it's almost detrimental to skip a cutscene because you really don't know where you're going to go next after.
That's where the story happens. Yeah, exactly. That's
No, but in the regard of I will usually if it's Call of Duty or something like that, it's cool. I'm not really here for the story. I'm
it's a linear game. Yeah. Oscar Mike. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, got it. Ramirez. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, I tend to the first time through always watch and read everything that I can. And it really depends if you know you have to play the game a second time. No matter what, I still try and do my 100% first time through, and watch the story first time through. Like that is the goal ultimately, to get the game done in one hit, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and if you have to go through it again, you just running through the game, you just skip everything a second time.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I've only, I guess, skipped dialogue once, and I said this not too long ago on the podcast, and it was with the Ascent, and I know people kind of hate me for that one because everyone's kind of loving that one, but I don't know, the characters just talk too slow.
it's too
I didn't
buggy.
like, and I just wasn't feeling the sci-fi, edge that the game kind of had. So I'm just like, it wasn't with the main story, it was the side quests.
Sure,
So
the
all the
side
side
quests
quest
weren't
stuff,
the best.
I just
Yeah.
tick, got it all done, and I was done. But yeah. So, and I've never really done that before. I tend to watch, but I just knew that it wouldn't matter if I did or didn't. So with that one, so because I wasn't feeling it, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of scenarios where I skip stuff. It's usually just like indie stuff that I was like, okay, like I'm like actually Benedict Fox is a good example. I skipped all of the dialogue in the game because it was trash. The story was not good. The voice acting was really bad, unfortunately. Like a lot of like English as a second language kind of unfortunate. Like I don't mean to harp on like, people doing their best, but like no. Yeah, I just
don't do it. Don't skip your cutscenes and watch
yeah,
the story.
You're
here to enjoy the video games. Enjoy the video games.
Exactly. Like yeah, rushing through stuff as quickly as possible for what? Like I play games quite quickly naturally.
Mm-hmm.
By quickly I mean I put a lot of hours in over a short period of time. I tend to like rinse stuff pretty quickly, but like I still like I don't like I'm not doing like a speed run, just hop everywhere I go to try and get somewhere faster, or I don't like mashing on the A button to skip through all the dialogue. Like I'll go around and look for things and that kind of stuff if it's relevant. Just most games don't really like most games in the world are linear A to B games, which makes perfect sense, right? Because it's expensive and a pain in the ass to make an open world game. Having said that, I was just thinking of I had an example that I was just trying to think of, but I think that like I have a mind like a steel trap when it comes to like stories and like JRPGs and stuff. So like I don't mind if I take a break. I usually come back. I usually remember most of what's happened. And the other good thing about most of those games is they usually have like a quest log or like a journal for chapters of story stuff you can go back and read if you need a bit of a refresher. But then most JRPGs that I play and then I play all the way through because I'm like, well, I'm getting this experience now. And also there's that thing of like coming back and also even if you know what's going on, being like, okay, what am I supposed to do though? Or what do I need to do? Or my favorite, why did I stop playing this in the first place? Oh shit, that's why I stopped playing it because of this bullshit or whatever. Because I got, this like I was like, why did I stop playing Dragon Age Inquisition for the second time? Oh, that's right, the big Haven fight on Nightmare where you basically get forced into fighting a bunch of dudes and having no health pickups.
I had one of those this week with The Last Worker. I'm like, why did I put this like really interesting narrative like indie game down? Like, oh, that's right, they have a horrible mini game that's like 99% impossible.
Right. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, I just love the games with unskippable content every time you die and you have to do it again.
Oh my god! I'm suddenly thinking, yeah,
Vimesia, like having to redo that tutorial every single time I died on the first boss.
That does suck a lot.
Oh, I was so annoyed. But I got there in the end. If the gameplay's good enough, you'll get through it. If it's not, then it's yeah. Move on. Unless you really want that 100% like some madmen on this podcast.
David's on the money. Too Human, so
Too Human, yeah. Nothing about Too Human is worth playing. It's only got 4 levels in the whole fucking game. Anyway, but yeah, thank you for the question, Tolanator. That's a really good one. Let's move on to the.
Is that what it's criticized for, being too short?
Well, I mean,
I don't know
considering
too much
how
about
long you had to spend grinding that game, it's too short.
Okay.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It's both too short. Okay, the game is too short in terms of it has 4 levels, but each of those levels are way too long. But
So half
also,
the
I think
length,
that what
8
David's
levels.
referring to is every time you die, a Valkyrie comes to pick you up, and you have to watch the whole fucking animation every single time, and it's like a minute long. And you're like, I got it. I suck at this game. Just fucking let me get back into it. Holy shit, that game was bad. That game was so bad. Anyway,
That just makes me want to play it. It does.
it's so bad.
I gotta go do it.
Isn't that the one they got sued over?
Yeah, and then there's now
Yeah,
free.
that and X-Men Destiny
Yep.
was it was the built on
man.
the same engine. They actually got recalled, pulled off shelves.
Yep, and to just
Um,
destroy them all.
Yep.
E.T.
all-
phone home.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and all the cutscenes are unskippable. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's have a chat about the news. What do we got?
All right. So there's not really much to go off this week.
Obviously, because you put bloody Shrek in here, you numpty.
No, I put Shrek in
Shrek
there
is
to
life.
make a joke, and you've just ruined it. I hope you haven't. All right. Starting straight off, Xbox update finally brings the new Xbox Home dashboard to consoles. I got this update about an hour ago.
I've got it too.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
It just looks more sleek, to be honest. I can see more on my homepage, which I'm.
Yeah. Do you want to run through this story? Is there a story you want to go through with that one?
Yeah, just they've redesigned the dashboard based on player feedback. It's now easier to discover new games, rediscover games you already love, connect with communities, and create a more personal experience. Yeah, there's not really much other to say other than it looks cleaner. You can see more of your, I guess, dynamic background picture. I like how everything's resized. Obviously, they're going to keep ads on there, as they do.
Yep. Hot tip: make groups of of games that you want and put them on your dashboard, so they appear directly underneath the main top screen.
Yep.
So if you make a couple of groups. I used to have, the old dashboard. What I did is I made a bunch of groups. It's like racing, shooters and whatever. And I just grouped all my games up in those categories and made a huge list of all my groups on the dashboard. They let you keep 2 in the category. So you can have 2 groups. So I put my multiplayer games that I jump into all the time, and 40. You can have like 40 games. There's 40 racing games sitting on my dashboard now. All I have to do is scroll down once, and then they're all there. So I've got all my racing games ready to go. So because that's what I'm playing all the time. So, but yeah. So it's stack it up with some games. If you don't want to see that content that's below that, which is everything else, then just put your groups in there and just fill it full of games.
See, I'll be honest, I don't really spend that much time on home.
Neither.
To really I'm with my console at the moment. I've pretty much taken the philosophy of, if I'm not going to play it, just uninstall it.
Yeah, I think I have like 16 games installed, which is a bit much even for me. I usually have a lot less than that, but it's mainly just so they stare me in the face so I don't forget about them.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I keep them installed.
Like in terms of groups, I have my like go-to group, which has like Dropout and Neverwinter, and I had Netflix and a few other bits, like stuff that I always go back to, that I just always have there.
Yeah, I've got a Game Pass group there.
Yeah.
Stuff that I need to do.
And then I made one big group that was games on my backlog that I haven't started, and it was like 100 games long. And I was like, fuck, okay. But the nice thing is that when I install stuff and remove it, it takes it out of the group as well. So it's nice and easy. Although, to be fair, I don't start. I just buy things and just play Game Pass stuff. So my backlog has not moved for a good while.
I don't really think there's much other than that. Also notes that there's an option to change the background to match the game you're highlighting in the recently played list.
That's kind of cool.
Okay. And the new home screen improves game discovery by introducing a list of games curated and personalized for you. You'll be able to customize the homepage by pinning your favorite games, groups, and systems. Friends and community updates tab has also been slimmed down, and the new home also shows what media apps and content are available to you via Watch and Listen, Spotlight, and list of entertainment apps.
Yeah, all right. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Just, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much everything everyone was complaining about.
Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, next one. The latest financial results for Microsoft fiscal year for quarter 4. For Microsoft's fiscal year 2023 have shown that the company has enjoyed its best quarter to date, with overall revenue reaching $56.2 billion, an 8% increase. Basically, the main story out of this is that Xbox Game Pass engagement is seeing a 22% year-on-year increase, while also sharing excitement for Starfield's launch into the service in September.
I mean, Sounds about right.
Yeah. So this is another quick one. Just Xbox gaming revenue rose 1% of the quarter. Hardware revenue declined by 13% during the quarter, but was balanced by a 5% increase in Xbox content and services, which have been attributed to the growth of Xbox Game Pass and third-party content. I'd be very interested to see how much, like a few years ago when we were seeing all the graphs that were saying like, a Game Pass subscriber is likely to spend, I think it was like 33% or something more on average.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember when with like Descenders came out and stuff like that, there was a lot of numbers around like the attach rates and people buying the games even when they were on Game Pass and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I wonder if that's still true. Because like there's still that perception, I guess, with people of like, I'll just wait till it hits Game Pass.
A little bit. But I think most people are impatient when it comes to like the zeitgeist. Like the kinds of people that who are listening to this podcast right now, like most people are going to be like, if I really want to play it, I want to play it when everyone else is playing it. I'm going to play it like pretty close to release.
If GTA 6 comes out, I'm not going to wait for it to hit.
Exactly. I'm not going to wait like 3 years.
Oh, yeah, I think their stats are mostly like around the people will buy it when it's leaving Game Pass, like because they know that they probably won't get it back. And
like with me, with the Ascent. God damn.
Yeah, and our community is most likely just buying the DLC that goes along with the games that are in there.
True.
To play it. Yeah.
The other interesting thing is this has been Microsoft's second highest fourth quarter for the Xbox division ever, behind financial year 21, which totaled approximately 3.49 billion. You got to think the end of 2021 we had, what was it, Age of Empires 4, Microsoft Flight Sim on console, I believe. I'm pretty sure that was late 2021. Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5. So for this to, be the second.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. Their Game Pass engagement. I wonder if that's like, I don't think they split it out between like console versus PC. They're right. They just say Game Pass.
Yeah, they said Game Pass. I honestly think PC, like they want to go for PC, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Like
PCs.
You're competing with
PCs
Steam and stuff like that. It's the PC gamer audience is constantly like, I'll wait for a sale or.
Well, I mean, the thing that you've got going on now is you've got the ROG Ally. And you know about that, Cameron. It's just like that's pushing PC Game Pass over anything else. So they want to get people in like the handheld market and pushing that kind of.
It's still like with Steam, like with the handheld consoles, it's still pretty much a case though of they're going to follow what's the best value proposition for them. If they don't see that there's going to be a good, like why would I buy Game Pass and when I can buy a bundle that's like 85% off? I think there was something ridiculous the other day that Valve had all their games in for like $15.
Yeah, like the sales are insane, right? And I think like Game Pass caters to a certain audience, but I think the PC market is like, shit. We saw the other week, right? Things are coming back to Steam after after Ubisoft are like, oh shit, people aren't buying our stuff on our launches anymore. We have to come back to Steam to get market share back, to get people to buy our games.
Blizzard putting their games onto Steam now as well.
Yeah, like Overwatch and that kind of stuff. Exactly, like same sort of thing. The only holdout is Epic, right? And that's because they have $1 million bazillion.
Yeah. Like Epic will continue to hold out. Like they would like barely make up like 5% of the market, and then you got other marketplaces like GOG and
Again, small players
compared to Steam,
And then like David points out, like Sony putting their stuff on there as well, like Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted.
One of the biggest advertisements on Steam at the moment is Ratchet and Clank available on Steam Deck.
Shit, that's huge. Yeah. Like to be fair, like I don't have a PlayStation, so that's probably how I would play it. Although I don't think it would run on my 1070 very well.
Oh yeah, there was that big Steam Ready thing, wasn't there? Just like having everything ready for the Steam Deck. Yeah. So if you're not qualified, then
like pretty much top of the page, Ratchet and Clank now available with all these great titles as well, and then it's got like your heavy hitters, your Starlight Valley, like your ones that just make tons of money. But I don't think there's really much else to say. It'd be interesting to hopefully we get some like harder stats when it comes to Game Pass. Because PC Game Pass is a weird one for me because I feel like they have done some really good moves in it, like especially with the what was that, League of Legends, fairy characters,
Yeah,
like
right.
Valorant, all that kind of stuff that means nothing to us as achievement hunters. But obviously there is an audience there.
Yeah, was
sure.
there a bump when all of that was added, or like they really get anything out of that?
I mean,
A few
they haven't
news
said.
stories and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Like maybe
I don't
Engagement.
know.
But they haven't
It
really-
doesn't. I mean,
yeah.
again, like the circles that we travel in. Like, I mean, to be fair, even in the like hardcore gaming circuit, the kinds of people who play League and Valorant and nothing else are also a completely different breed from your regular hardcore gamer and from your achievement hunter, right? So I feel we're about like 5 steps removed from that.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see kind of I mean that's Microsoft's obvious big play, being like, hey, we need to make partnerships in the PC space because we owned it and now we lost it, and we'd like to claw some of it back. I mean, I have Game Pass Ultimate, obviously, so I like PC Game Pass quite a bit. There's a lot of stuff on there. Like I while I was away, I was looking for stuff on my laptop to be like, okay, I just want to play some. I was going to play some stuff that's only on Windows. Age of Empires is also on console, so it doesn't count anymore.
No.
Yeah, because you really want to play that on console.
No, I really do not. But
You will
so
not
like I
survive
played
it.
like
You will not
that's
complete on console.
no, absolutely not. But that's where I that's where I started playing Everspace 2, right? And it was an amazing game. And I did like Wreckfest and Death's Door and Overwhelm and just like stuff like that's on PC Game Pass. That's Windows has Windows lists to Windows stacks. It's great for that. But I don't see myself I have a massive fuck off TV and I have a Series X, right?
Yeah.
So like if I'm going to play any Game Pass stuff that's not exclusive to Windows, I'll play it on the console.
It very much comes down to what kind of game I'm feeling like. Like if it is a real-time strategy game like Rise of Nations, or Age of Empires, I'm definitely going to play that on the PC. I'm not going to. I'm just not going to get comfortable on a console. It's just not going to happen.
No, absolutely not.
So it kind of makes me interested in, like, will they ever get to a point that PC Game Pass really matches console Game Pass?
No way. They don't have enough control of the ecosystem, and they don't have enough good deals with the publishers to be able to match what Steam are doing, unless they have some huge influx on PC Game Pass because the other problem with PC Game Pass, right, is that the majority of those games are on their I don't think they use UWP anymore, right? They use whatever format the Microsoft Store versions of all those stuff are.
The thing
it's
is,
still there, but
Steam doesn't really have to do anything. Like everything's baked into the Steam sales. Like you look at like particular event sales coming up. There's Stealthfest at the moment. That is all. Like a lot of these events were very much advertised to be, kind of like showcase your strategy. Perhaps it's all catered to heavy discount kind of games that are going to get Steam sales, and you go and like
that's how you end up
off.
on the top of the list, right?
Yeah.
You put yourself on a 10% discount when you come out, and you get a few more people to buy it.
Yeah, but you have stuff like Frostpunk 80% off sale. Like just massive.
I've got friends talking about what are they going to do with getting Call of Duty into Game Pass on PC, like converting the old games and getting them over to PC. But I mean, for all the people that's playing on PC, are they really going to buy it again or paying Game Pass for something that they've already got for like old Call of Duty games? Probably not. I would say. I mean, it's just really like anything moving forward. I think even with the new subscriptions, is going to be for new customers.
Yeah,
it's going to be about ramping up engagement and getting new people in, and them getting used to the new systems and having everything there for them, not for the people who's been around for a while. So
I know it doesn't matter outside of the achievement hunting corner, but like I'm very much going back to my point about like particular genres I'll play on PC, whereas in others I'll play on console. I'd love like SimCity and that kind of stuff to get achievements. Like the game, like the games that you essentially need to play with keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like how RTS is, right?
I mean there was that other. I mean we haven't put it in the news for this week, but they were mapping Elite Series 2 controllers to Windows
Yeah,
buttons
keyboard
and stuff
stuff,
like that.
which is
Like a bit
interesting.
weird, obscure piece of news with that. So
Yeah.
Apparently, it's only game by game basis, but it's
yeah, and it's
interesting that
like
it's happening at all.
Control Alt and W, or specific you mapping specific combinations and stuff. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like any other PC Game Pass that is like appealing to me. It's like the Wasteland series as well. I could see myself doing it on the PC, but I can't see myself doing it on the console.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just the more finicky systems, but
Yeah. Well, anything
can't
that's
really
isometric, I kind of prefer PC over console. I think, like, I don't like clicking the button to move around. If it's one of the old styles where it's built on mouse clicks to move you from point to point to point.
Yeah.
If it's built into the joystick where you can move around freely, fine. But if you have to click a button, I'd rather do it on a mouse.
Well, that's why they had to redesign a lot of Diablo 3, right? When it came to consoles, was because they put the right stick to roll stuff in there. It was actually really, really good. But yeah. Anyway, all right. What else we got?
You want to talk about Immortals: Phoenix Rising?
Yeah. So apparently, there was an Immortals: Phoenix Rising sequel that was in early development at Ubisoft Quebec and has been cancelled because Ubisoft is in a shit place and they don't know how to make a good video game.
It's annoying too because I just realized the other day Ubisoft's actually going to have a really strong end of year. They got. You think the next 6 months they got the Crew Motorfest, which I mean, I'm sure
it'll
you
be
could get.
fine. Yep.
It has
Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yeah, which I'm sure will do very well.
And then Avatar.
Yeah, and I'm sure Avatar will do decently.
Yeah.
Like they got some heavy hitters, right? And they've got is Extra Fine coming out this year?
They're doing beta tests.
I know they're testing at the moment, right? But I don't think they've announced an actual release date. But yeah, apparently Ubisoft leadership decided to cancel the follow-up earlier this month due to perceived challenges around establishing the IP, which basically means that they didn't sell enough of the original game and they didn't get enough buy-in or brand recognition to think that doing a sequel was a good idea.
Yeah, it looks like they're just in an identity crisis with the game. They don't know what to do with it. So it'll basically be beyond good and evil.
It sucks because the amount of
levels of never get a sequel.
It sucks because the amount of times I've seen it, like in bargain bin $5 pickup, like it's a great game.
It is actually like a really cool game. Like of the kind of Ubisoft open world games, it's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah. X Defiant is summer 2023.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. Yeah. They really just need to get the Shanghai team on that and just have them make the game because
I mean they're not doing anything, right? They could just
What have Ubisoft currently got in development? Other than a whole bunch of Assassin's Creed.
I mean, like, no one's talked about Star Wars tonight. That's coming.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, there was something, there was an article before of...
They basically came out and said that it wasn't going to be like a 300-hour RPG. They were just... Because people started getting worried when the other news came out that the worlds were quite big. They're like, no, it's not like Odyssey. We're not, you're not going to be in there forever.
All right. Current games in development. Motorfest, Mirage, The Division Resurgence, which, did you say you played?
I have been playing the is it a beta? It's like an open beta thing on mobile phone. Yeah, you have to sign up to actually get into it. And I haven't really played it much since, but it feels really good for a mobile game. It has heaps of legs, but one of the reasons I didn't go back to it much was because all my progress will die before the game comes out.
Yeah, right.
No. I can't remember if it was Canon or Dale, but one of them told me that they had been playing the beta and they said it was like Division 1 on mobile. It was pretty like solid.
It is. It really is. It feels good. So
what else we got? We got Avatar, we got Assassin's Creed Nexus VR, which God looks awful.
Yeah.
I mean I'll be very interested to see what they do with what is it, Ezio, Cassandra. Was it 3 characters? Ezio, Cassandra,
and Connor.
Connor, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
Connor, I could care
my growing enthusiasm for VR with just that first PSVR. I mean, like it didn't look too bad for me. Like for what they're trying to do with it, like the concepts of the vehicle of moving as an assassin, as like on rails, is actually like it can be quite good. So, but the problem is it's on certain Facebook headsets that we don't want to talk about. So
Yeah.
Skull and Bones, which we know is never going to come out.
Beyond Good and Evil, that's never coming out either.
Beyond Good and Evil 2, yeah. I will say Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is probably...
Looks good, yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited for that.
I know that with Mirage and Motorfest, I might pick up Ubisoft Plus just to play it day one.
Maybe you said the other week. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Probably not a bad idea. Yeah.
I think Prince of Persia I might as well.
Mm.
Like if they can have like some quality with these games coming out to the point of like, you know, I just spend it on a subscription to get day one compared to buying it outright. I think that would be good. Star Wars Outlaws, I mean, I could, like, it really depends the gameplay for me. Assassin's Creed Codename Red, Assassin's Creed Infinity, Assassin's Creed Code.
Yeah, again, that's all way in the future, right? So I guess that, yeah, I think they are going to have a strong showing, but I think that I am, because they did announce recently they've like shut three unannounced games down, and this is potentially one of them.
Yeah.
It is a real shame because, like I said, I really enjoyed the original game and the DLCs they did with it. Apparently, this new one was going to be like around some sort of like Polynesian myth, and kind of
yeah, okay.
A different slant at it, which I think is like probably not a bad idea considering they did that like China DLC, which was quite good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like they showed that they had a sort of proof of concept. I think the thing is that what kind of I saw with the China DLC made by the Shanghai team was that it was a DLC, so it was a more self-contained, smaller experience that was still really good. And if they had done like another one of those, and like, you know, if they put like a smaller experience out every, you know, once a year or whatever, that's kind of just like based on the same engine, same sort of thing with like some tweaks to it. I think you got a series there, but what they want it to be is they want it to be an Assassin's Creed. They want it to be a Far Cry where you have a huge open map every time, and the game is, you know, hugely successful, makes heaps of money, etc., etc.
I mean,
and get it out every 2 or 3 years, which is not happening these days.
No.
I mean, even I just don't see why they, unless it really like didn't perform to their expectations. Because I feel like you could do like, you know, the typical Far Cry Ubisoft kind of thing and just reskin the map.
Yeah.
Like just make it a 1.5 game, but yeah. There's also the Project U, which is an online game. That was like a session-based co-op shooter.
Yeah.
Splinter Cell remake, Division Heartland, and the Set of Times remake. Which how long ago was Sands of Time remake announced now?
A long time ago. A long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, they started that again.
Yeah, they restarted exactly. Yeah, which is why everyone was so up in arms about this 2D one.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. So yeah, so I'm pretty disappointed. I'd like to see it rise from the ashes, if you'll excuse the pun. But maybe one day they own the IP. I think there is definitely something there. It was, you know, Gods and Monsters was still a better name when they originally had it, but yeah, that looks all right.
Oh well, you know, it couldn't happen with Monsters suing them.
No, apparently no, apparently not. All right, Cameron, talk about your fucking meme game.
So who was it who did that? It was Super Bob, yeah?
Bob, yep.
Yeah, so Super Bob did the Madagascar 360 kart racer completion because he's working through his 360 titles at the moment. Currently at Achievement Fest. Shout out to him.
Yeah, speaking of people that need to that are like buzzing through thousands of Japanese novel gamer score games just to get his achievements. Apparently he's working on all the Japanese novels, so
And Wallace and Gromit.
yes.
Oh, Wallace and Gromit's one of those games that I wish like I'd bought before it was delisted.
100%. It's like the only Telltale game I never played. So.
I played what was the one on GameCube?
Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
No, there was another one.
Was there? Okay, that's the one I always remember.
Well, it's gonna eat me up inside.
Cheese.
Project Zoo.
Project Zoo. Okay,
I loved Project Zoo when I was a kid. I don't know like what the appeal of it was. It was just like wacky. I really wish I picked up those games. Anyway, so he did.
I will say one quick tangent. If you at all like anything about Star Wars at all, make sure you check out Star Wars Visions Season 2. It's like an anthology where they get different animators. to do like an episode each. One of the episodes is done by the Wallace and Gromit guys, and it is incredible.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
It's so good.
I'm
and
not
if you're
a Star Wars fan, but like
it's pretty good. Like it basically it is about like a space race, like a you know like think like kart derby, but like with spaceships. It's real fucking stupid.
I was thinking like episode 1 Star Wars Racer.
Kind of, but like it's like campy and funny.
Yeah.
But also anyway, there's so anyway. I won't get into it, but it's just
Man, I do want to check that out now. I will not check any of the other stuff out. I'll just check
it's
out.
It's like a 15-minute episode. Like you can just like watch through it. It's real short.
Yeah. So
But
anyway,
some of the memes.
made a joke about like Madagascar, which is like the most horrible fun I've ever done.
Yep.
And then
That's saying
no
something.
joke, I checked IGN later on, and then they announced that they're doing a DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racer later this year. I believe it was later this year.
Yes, I believe so. They only
The
just
TA article
announced
doesn't
it.
say. Usually with these kind of stuff, though, the IP properties is pretty close to.
Yeah, they
Release,
usually
yeah.
announce it, for a Christmas release or whatever.
You can race as Puss in Boots. What else is there? They got Shrek IP. They got Kung Fu Panda. They got Boss Baby.
Oh, Boss Baby. Oh,
Yeah.
thank God. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. What else is there?
I mean, what else have they done? They've got
Madagascar.
dragons as well. I don't know if they've got
How to
that
Train Your
anymore,
Dragon?
but
Yeah. Hiccup. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of the DreamWorks IP.
I mean, DreamWorks have a lot of stuff. Like they've done some good stuff.
Have you seen the latest Puss in Boots movie?
I have not. I keep meaning to. I'm
It's
getting.
really good. Like
Everybody has told me to watch it.
Like you sit down with like a Shrek or something with your kid, and you're like, oh well, I do.
If I was there with my kid, Jesus Christ, that's worrying.
Yeah. Where'd you come from? But you sit down and watch one of these movies, and you're like, oh, like that was like a 7 out of 10. It was an enjoyable experience.
Mm-hmm.
Puss in Boots is like a 9 or a 10. Just
All
the
right, I'm gonna watch
animation.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it this weekend. It's fine. I've got it. I have it. I just haven't watched it.
It's typical DreamWorks, but I'm just the animation style in it. The last time I can remember being that impressed by something was the spider legs guy in Treasure Planet.
Oh,
Because
wow,
of like
okay,
how nuts that.
That's a
yeah.
fucking callback. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Treasure Planet.
maybe.
Treasure Planet's like my favorite, like one of my favorite animated movies.
It's so good.
Now you should see Sinbad. Sinbad, there was a really good one that had like an all-star cast. That was really good.
I remember that one. I went and saw that in theaters when I was a kid.
My
it's great.
3 favorite animations when it comes to this kind of stuff is Treasure Planet,
Yep.
Road to El Dorado,
Road to El Dorado, yeah, is good. And
and
Emperor's New Groove.
Atlantis.
Oh, I love.
I okay, this is like just classics to me.
Just
like, this is
sure.
like
Like Atlantis is so good.
I love Emperor's New Groove though.
Emperor's New Groove is probably one of my favorite animated, like of that era of like, the like Disney animated movies is probably like my favorite.
Yeah, I think those ones were probably just a little bit like I was growing up a little bit quicker to see those movies. I didn't catch Treasure Planet, I think, until I met my wife. So
I'm
They-
suddenly
they
remembering
did
Titan
Treasure Planet.
AE. I don't know if anyone ever watched that.
I keep on getting told to watch Titan AA.
I
because
love
it's
it.
like-
It's bad.
I haven't
but
seen
love
that
it.
either. Yeah.
Oh, what's the other one? Is it The Last Colossus? Something like that.
Iron Giant.
Iron Giant is
Iron Giant is that's David Bird, the guy who did The Incredibles. So yeah, it's fucking amazing. Oh man. Anyway, we're getting massively off topic.
I
but
could go on a whole bunch of.
I could talk about fucking cartoons all day, which is really, really worrying me as a 31-year-old man.
Wait, actually, very quick
Yes.
tangent. I've been going through the Night of the Museum movies with Percy.
Oh my god.
They hold up.
No, they don't.
Hold up to what?
Yeah, no, they don't. Ben Stiller is a
What's your
terrible actor.
basis here?
This one is a lot better than what I remember. And then the
The
second
first one's okay. I
and then
mean,
the
it's got some good actors in it, but it's a fucking shit movie.
the second one's got Bill Hader in it.
Oh
And Bill
God.
Hader is
the fact that they
amazing.
made a second and third one is just like
They made a 4th one.
I didn't even know that.
That's
okay.
that's the
I'm
animated
good.
one about the kid. But
Okay, all right, whatever.
that's my goal, to watch them all with Percy before I go off to Germany and come back. Anyway, quick side note. But so a lot of some of my more casual gamer friends are really excited to be able to race as like Poe and Shrek and that. And yeah.
I mean, Disney just came out with their one recently, right? It's like their free to play.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard much updates about Speedstorm after. I haven't checked it out myself.
I mean, apparently it's rotten with microtransactions, which I think this will be as well. Like this is just like, if you'll excuse the pun, a vehicle for that kind of stuff.
Well, this is.
No, I don't excuse that at all. That's better than any joke Cameron's made on the podcast tonight.
Man, I wish I saw the clip of the week for this show.
Wait, anybody can clip this right now. So
yeah, sure. This is true.
No, they can't. That's a lie.
I'll clip it later.
I don't think this will have microtransactions. Like the
There's some huge microtransaction stuff going on. If you look at the Switch games, Square Enix just took all of the microtransactions out of Chocobo GP.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that one, yeah.
Mhm.
It's just like, cool. Our free-to-play model did not work with our ridiculously high microtransactions. Let's release it as a Switch port with no marketing whatsoever.
Yeah, they pretty much just I think they kept it mostly as it is, but gave everybody the tokens to unlock everything, I think, as far as I'm aware. So you just kind of like go through and unlock it with the tokens in the game. So
great movie that still holds up, Legally Blonde. I mean, you're not wrong.
Legally Blonde's okay.
Yeah. I don't think this will have microtransactions. I can understand Speedstorm, and I can't understand the Lego one. Wait, am I thinking Lego?
Yeah, 2K Drive.
2K Drive, that's it.
Yes, which again has filled with microtransactions. So
who's publishing this one then? Because you can just look at their history of their kind of games and see what's going on.
That's a very good question, and I'm kind of wondering if it's an outright game.
It's being published by Game Mill Entertainment, which if your studio is called Game Mill, fuck me, I can think of the level of quality you can expect.
What rhymes
it's like,
with
we just churn them out.
Shill. Shill.
They just, we put the ideas on the thing, we just fucking grind them up and just spew them out.
Yeah.
And all of our workers are real sad.
Having a quick look at DreamWorks properties, I want to see what other.
I guess Game Grinder wouldn't have.
No, Game Grinder. I think so that's something very different. It reminds me of an old joke when people were talking about when Atlas used to publish stuff. There was a studio they had was I think it owns fairly called Vanilla Software. I think it was, which is like. It's the Japanese thing.
I
just
remember that. I think
it was like Vanillaware or something.
Yeah.
And it was like the 2D sides going. They're beautiful games, but they just I remember it was funny because it was just kind of the Japanese thing of like they just kind of picked a cutesy kind of name for the studio. But if you like translate that into English of like Vanillaware, it's like kind of boring. Like vanilla, it's like a new release from Tedious Games, Monotony Software. Like it's just kind of like vanilla games.
Do you want a list of the franchises real quick?
No, Cameron, I don't want a list of every fucking.
You don't want the Prince of Egypt in this racer?
Okay, that would actually. Okay, after this anecdote, we're moving on. Okay, but when the Prince of Egypt, which is an amazing fucking film by the way,
it really is.
Was getting made. People who fucked up or didn't do well in production got shipped off to make Shrek at the same time. Can you imagine going from making the Prince of Egypt to making Shrek? And they called it being Shreked when it to the animators when it happened.
I never knew that. Jeez. Yeah,
because it was happening at the same time. But also Shrek was even wildly way more successful, which is even funnier. But the Prince of Egypt was a piece of art. It's such a good fucking film. Anyway.
There's a few different things. I want to ask quickly. There was a few different things with Shrek. There was the original voice actor who passed away.
Right.
What's his name? That's why they got Michael Myers in.
I have no idea. I don't know anything.
I don't remember that.
I don't know anything about Shrek. other than the fact that like I watched it before it was a meme, and it's very funny to now watch it being like Shrek is now a meme movie, but what you people I watched it like it was just a series, like it just
Like
an
it was an
animated
old
comedy,
movie. Yeah.
like a normal film, and it wasn't just I wasn't like Leonardo DiCaprio every 5 seconds being like pointing at every fucking thing that's been used as a meme over the last fucking 20 years. Anyway,
the younger
let's move into Game
generations
Pass
ruined
updates.
us. I want to talk about Captain Underpants though. Coming to this.
No, I do not want to talk about that. Let's fucking move on. God damn it.
All right, cool. Game Pass games that have recently been added. We had Figment 2, which I'm sure. Did you do last week or you did?
I'll talk
this
about
week?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I did this week. Yeah.
Wandering Village, which I've downloaded but I haven't spent any time in yet. Serious Sam Siberian Mayhem, which I've seen people complain about on Twitter with the unobtainable, which makes
On
sense.
Xbox, not on PC, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Vemba, which comes out on July 31st, I'm really interested in. Celeste is coming out on August 1st, which I will talk about. Everspace 2 is coming out to console on August 15, which I'm sure Matt can talk about. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I'm pretty sure all of us here do not give a single...
Nope.
The one thing I am interested about that list is whether they fixed it after the controversy.
Yeah, because they released the list like a year before it came out.
If they give us like a 15 to 20 hour completion, I might check it out.
I'll probably play it, yeah.
If they do bullshit Friday the 13th shit, then no. And then Sea Stars, which probably be like one of the better...
I will probably play that
Not
as soon as
better.
it's...
That looks
As
good.
soon as I know it's completable, I'm going to play it.
Yeah, one of the most anticipated indies, I would say.
Sure.
July 31st, we have Dreamscaper, Marvel's Avengers, The Ascent, and 2 Point Campus leaving. I would say if you're listening to the podcast right now, you do not have a chance to complete any of those before they leave.
You might get through the Ascent if you rush this weekend, but it would be, you'd have to skip everything.
Yeah.
I would not advise it.
It would be a hard yard.
Or just buy it. It's cheap.
Yeah,
I
be
think it's on
prepared
a
to play
sale
it
at the
more than
moment.
once.
Like, not the typical Game Pass sale. I think it's actually on a decent...
It's like 60% off, I think it was.
Microsoft has also revealed... Okay, so Games of Gold. We talked about it last week. We don't know... A few of the press sites are saying that it's the final 2 to be offered, but the service is technically ending September 14th or 15th.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping, fingers crossed, that we get another one, but doubt. The free games are apparently Blue Fire and Internal... how to pronounce this? Interstitial Drift?
It's kind of like it's
supposed to be like inertial. I don't know.
It is
It's
because
a pun.
If you look at the achievements as well, they do the same shit where they kind of just they spell all the words wrong. So it's very strange.
So from what I heard, apparently Drift is a pretty decent arcade racer, and Blue Fire is pretty average.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, they're 2 games that I didn't have, which is what I always
exactly.
appreciate.
That's what I want
good
out of
for a
that
racing game.
service.
But yeah. Hopefully we have some more Game Pass stuff. Who wants to go first for games they've been playing?
I've got a big list, so I can kind of flick through it relatively quickly.
Yeah, I got like 5 or 6.
Yeah, so I finished up Cuphead. Cameron challenged me to go back and finally finish it. And so I finally finished it today. That game is so good. It's so fucking good.
I was kind of like annoyed with you a little bit because of how much I was enjoying going back to it.
I mean, to be fair, all I had left to do was the game on Expert. I had finished the game. I'd beaten, the Devil and King Dice and
the DLC, right?
Obviously, this was before the DLC came out. And so the DLC was just a really, really good excuse to go. I bought the DLC, went back to it. I was like, fuck it, it's like $10. And the DLC was really good. I really liked the new bosses. Most of the bosses. There's one that's kind of sucks.
Which one didn't you like?
The plain one I really didn't like.
One
with the screen moving around. I was like,
that's the one I saw you streaming, Cameron, and you were having a bit of trouble with that too.
It's
it takes a bit to get used to at the start. I think the worst bit of that DLC is just the fact that you have to do I don't know what the term is, like the knights,
like the King's Gauntlet thing?
Yeah, the King's Gauntlet. That's it. Like having to it's just that thing of like not saving your progress and then having to start something else. Even if they are easier, just a pain in the ass getting to the last thing and having to redo everything again.
For sure. I mean, the night is definitely. I'm glad the night's early up because I fucked up on that one quite a few times. But like I really enjoyed the DLC. It was really well made. I like the final boss for it. I think it was the right level of challenging for what I wanted. And I also found that I still had a lot of my skills still. Going back to it, like I got back into it relatively quickly. Playing as Miss Chalice was a lot more my play style. Being able to parry on a dash is really, really helpful for me. Because the thing is like, it just like, because you're shooting here. Yeah.
It's unique enough too to actually like feel like feel like it gives a different spin on the game as well.
Yeah, like it's a thing where it's like it's not necessarily easier with her, but it works better for my playstyle. Like having a double jump and having the dash parry, but not having like the because you can't equip any of the other the charms like the smoke stuff or any of that, so you can't dodge through things unless you do the roll. But that was fine. Like so I used Miss Chalice to go back and do the expert for all the other missions and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a lot easier for me because it kind of fits my playstyle a bit more. Also helps that you have like four health as opposed to 3. I fucking loved it. It was really, really good. The only missions I ended up the only missions I had trouble with were going back and doing the plane missions because those are always a little bit difficult for me. I'm not very good at that kind of shmup stuff. But once I kind of got into it, like the last one I did was the genie, and it was a lot easier than I remembered. It really is just about perseverance. It's like once you're not going for A ranks, that game I enjoy the game a lot more. Where it's like I just have to get through the level. Where it's like okay, I got to get through the level. I got to use 6 supers. I got to parry 3 things, and I got to try and be at above 3 health and do it under 2 minutes to try and get an S rank, or at least try and get an A- rank at the very least. It kind of was like, okay, not really what I want. Like, but just going through an expert, I had a really, really good time. Most of the bosses were quite straightforward. I like the new weapons. I like the new bosses. Like, it's great. It's absolutely fantastic game. Highly recommend. I mean, obviously everyone's already played it at this point, but it's definitely a proud completion for me because it was one of those games when I started it, I saw the expert achievement. I did like one of the bosses on expert. I got my ass handed to me. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? And I have a few games like that on my tag, and very, very rarely do I ever finish them. And so I'm very, very happy about that.
I want to just quickly sidetrack it.
Sure.
There's a game that was announced at Future Game Show called Enchanted Portals that I'm really hoping, like takes the Cuphead. Like it's a little bit more on the modern animation side, but it takes that kind of Cuphead design. And that's going to be a 2D co-op as well, and that's
interesting.
A Spanish studio of 2 people.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
I'm really keen to see if they can pull off this kind of look because the main problem with Cuphead is like the development cycle is massive because everything is hand drawn and
it's beautiful and I like what they did with the DLC, like the art style where they kind of did like some of that like claymation-ish kind of stuff for some of the backgrounds, and it was quite like I like the sort of the change up that they did.
It's very unique.
And like I'm super interested in whatever they work on next. And then so I did that, and then it's been Game Pass. Much like it was last week, I have been churning them out. So I got through Toem, which is great. It's an isometric puzzler where it's like very, very chill. You walk around and take photos of things and just like solve very, very basic puzzles. Some people will be like, "Oh, hey, I need you to take a picture of these things for me," and just go around looking for them. It kind of works like a sort of like a Game Boy game. It's very cute. The music's nice. It's very, very chill. It has like a nice little DLC mode at the end for like an extra island that they added. Like it's great. It's like I think I finished it in like 3 or 4 hours. I think the estimated time is a little bit higher than that. I only used the guide to sort of clean up the quests at the end, just of stuff I wasn't sure about, but I got like 90% of it just guideless. It was really, really fun. So I definitely recommend that. It's very cute. Like I really like the style of it. In a sort of similar vein, I also did Figment 2, which is Baby's first Death's Door, basically, or Bastion. where basically you just kind of again, it's a sequel, so I don't quite know what was in the first game. Although I looked at like the amount of people who played it, and it was like 200 on TA, so it's up. They really should add the first one onto Game Pass as well, because I would definitely play it. But yeah, you essentially play. You play, I think, like the embodiment of courage in some guy's mind, and you basically are in the mind of a guy who's like overworked and had you start off the game fighting the fear of the dark, for example, and then you go through and you're chasing a jester who's like messing things up, and so you switch between like open-minded and closed-minded, and whatever you do changes the layout of the world or changes like how some of the puzzles interact. It's very, very straightforward. There isn't really a lot to it. The combat is incredibly simple. It has like a roll attack, a regular attack, and then like you do like a spin attack if you do enough attacks. It's like really, really basic. Some puzzle stuff. There's some collectibles, so if you have a collectible guide, just to make sure that's up. But I finished it in like 2.5 hours. I think it was probably closer to 3. Yeah, and it has a chapter select and everything like that, so you don't have to worry about it too much. It's nice. It's a nice little game. I definitely would have played the first one as well.
The art style looks really nice. It's,
yeah.
How do you describe that?
I don't know. It's kind of it's very light. It's got a very sort of cartoony vibe to it. It also there aren't that many boss fights in the game, but all of them are musicals. So they're all the boss actually like sings when you fight them. It's actually pretty good.
That's cool.
Oh, cool.
I think this is the kind of game that I think it's quite short, and I'm very curious to see what the first one's like. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. What else for Game Pass? I played Garden Story. So this is one that's been in Game Pass for a while, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll give this a go. It looks all right. Achievement looks fine. The review I put for it in is that it's Zelda, but you play as a grape. So it is like top-down, Link to the Past style, go around, beat things up, but it also has it has a building mechanic to it, or doing requests and like days mechanic thing. Like it's like a time over the day, and so like every day you get like between two or three requests in whatever area that you're in, and as you complete those requests, you unlock the store gets like new weapons or new items and stuff, and you kind of there's a story, but there's also like these other like sort of side quest stuff you can do, and sometimes they interact. But basically, you play a grape on a place called the Grove, which is like a living island, and you're like their last guardian, and you've been selected to be like, hey, this place is kind of fucked. Can you go and there's basically like 4 towns, and like, hey, the towns have all been cut off for years, and the guardians kind of went off on a voyage and never came back, and we kind of need you to like bring community back and reunite people and help repair things and fight off this rot that's coming and destroying things. The story is quite like there's an interesting kind of story in there. It doesn't really, it's nice. It's one of those games that I really like enjoyed playing. I didn't need a guide for the most part. It does this thing where as you progress through the story, you unlock slots and you put your memories, you unlock memories and you put those in and they give you stat bonuses. And so you can swap them out as like a loadout whenever you want. And you get these bonuses from the various guardians. You find the memorial stone for them, and it unlocks them being like, okay, if you do like this, like it's like, hey, spend 10 days in this area, or spend 10 minutes sprinting in this area, or do like just kind of little challenges. And as you do them, you unlock stat bonuses that you can kind of slot in to make a build. It's really like it's relatively simple, and it's a little bit like collectathon-y in terms of like you need to like get resources to like repair bridges or do side quests and that kind of stuff. But it's very, very simple. It has a no death mode. You probably won't really need it, but like some of the I think like the final boss or the second to last boss can get a little hairy. But yeah, like nice chill experience. TA is massively overinflated. You can get it done really, really quick.
Yeah, okay.
Completion time?
I think it says 15 to 20. I think I completed it in about like 12 hours or so.
Okay.
I would need...
Yeah, I kind of get the impression just looking at TA that was a little bit overestimated.
It's definitely overestimated. Like you can mainline it relatively simple. There is actually a walkthrough on Steam that has like if you really need a walkthrough, it'll tell you like you can mainline it really, really simple. It was just kind of my chill game. As I was playing Cuphead and getting frustrated, I would go back and play this to to chill out before I went back and tried something
I'm
else.
a cup. I'm a grape. I'm a cup. I'm a
Yep,
grape.
exactly. And then, I guess I should probably talk about Ghost Song.
I'm really keen on Ghost Song because to me, just based off 30 minutes, it kind of felt like a 7.
Yeah, it is. I
Like
think it's
middle
maybe. I think it's maybe a little bit less than that, but I think it's relatively solid. So, Ghost Song is a Metroidvania in that style of like Axiom Verge and Fist and that kind of stuff. The things that have come out, just things that I played recently in that genre. But it is it weighs very heavily on its Dark Souls nature. Like it's very much like story is very a lot of mystery, a lot of like piecing things together from what you found out, the characters you meet, a lot of like, hey, go find this person and then kind of figure out where they're going to show up next to continue their quest line, but make sure you don't progress the game too much or you'll show up there and they're dead or whatever, you know, like very much that kind of like esoteric, not a huge amount. There's probably more guidance than a regular sort of Dark Souls game. You basically need to collect 5 components for a spaceship to repair it so you can escape this planet. But there's a whole thing around like, what the fuck are you? Who are these people? What happened to this planet that you're on? Why are you here? Why are there bugs everywhere? Who are these like people that you're meeting? Why are some of them robots? Why are some of them humans? Like there's a whole like lot of world building stuff that's kind of left open to interpretation. It gets really weird and interesting if you like really dig into the narrative. But my biggest problem with the game, unfortunately, is kind of playing it. It has a combination of the sort of Metroid, you know, blaster shooter with like a special weapon. And then what happens is as you shoot your gun, you essentially overheat your gun and slows it down. And then when you do melee, if you're overheated, you do more melee damage. So you kind of need to switch between the two. The idea is use melee until you cool down, blast until you've overheated, then go back to melee.
Right.
The problem is that like the game itself doesn't play quite smooth enough. It like the platforming is kind of a little bit janky. The combat is a little bit clunky. It doesn't have the sort of the finesse required for like you get like a phase jump that allows you to like gives you like invincibility frames to teleport through someone. But it's just like the timing's not quite right. The animations are a little off. The aiming is kind of finicky. Like it just, unfortunately, the more I played it, the less I was kind of enjoying it, and it was just kind of more of a pain.
Yeah. Okay. I need to check you on that stuff. Yeah, because I was actually really interested in playing that game, and now that you've said it, I know what it is. I forgot what the name was, and it's the one I was looking at. So
yeah,
check that out.
Like I don't think it's a bad game by any means, but I feel like maybe it's a little bit over ambitious. Like I feel like they're trying a lot of stuff, and they don't necessarily like. Let me put this. I was looking it up, and like this game got kickstarted like 9 years ago. So it's been in development for a long time. And it came out quite different. I just feel like it's I was hoping I would enjoy it more than I did, especially like as someone who plays a lot of this kind of genre.
So I'm reading the reception for it. Rock Paper Shotgun said that the game has issues leading the player.
Yeah.
Which that's my biggest criticism when it comes to Metroidvanias.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was PC Gamer was much more critical, noting that the dev system of the game was flawed, could lead to a catch-22, while also noting that the fundamental systems of the game was sound yet overall repetitive.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like I feel like there wasn't like a lot of variety, and the boss battles aren't very good, and like the thing about like Dark Souls, anyway, yeah, like they very much tried to like, I kind of when I described it in my, my line of review is like basically trying to mash the two things together, but not always understanding what makes those two games really, really good. Anyway, sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. It's been a very Game Pass heavy week this week.
Work on your backlog. Don't work on Game Pass. I need to catch up. I keep seeing you like do like 4 Game Pass games a week, and I'm like, how the hell does he have time?
I'm not finishing anything.
Yeah, they're great. And so I was looking for what my next thing to start with was. So I started Superland 6 Inches Under, which is the Superland 2, the sequel.
Yep.
That recently got added to Game Pass. They just patched it to fix the remaining sort of glitchy achievements, apparently. So hopefully that goes well for me. I'll report back if not. It's very much like more of the same. They've made some like little tweaks to the UI and how the game plays to make it a bit more user friendly, because the first game was a little bit of a mess. But it's very much the same thing where it's like you play a blue guy this time. They give you some of the stuff a little bit more upfront. I think I'm getting towards I played like 5 hours of it today, sort of like this afternoon before we started. And I'm enjoying it. Like, it's good. It's relatively chill. I've got a collectible guide up for like the chests, but like I'm solving all the puzzles myself and stuff. And there are there's like some challenging puzzles in there in a way that's like I'm really enjoying. Yeah, I definitely I'll come back with like a full review once I finished it. I don't want to quite recommend it yet. But if you like the first one, they just made some more of it, which fine by me, because the first one's really good. But anyway, that's me. Yeah, busy week.
Cool. I've only got a couple,
Yeah,
so
go
I
for
might
it.
go next. Really, I've been getting back into studying, so I haven't had a whole lot of time during the week. So I did not get to play any Hitman
What's that
at all
game?
this week. Studying, yeah, I know, right? So, well,
I say that
let me
knowing I'll
tell you
have to
about.
study all weekend.
So I've just kind of been littering little bits of racing in between, like, just study sessions. So I've been loading up Forza Motorsport 6, trying to just knock through that. So there's really nothing to say about that. But I've also been going and doing the Need for Speed, the self-titled one, trying to kick through the story in that too. So I'm a good chunk through one of the storylines, so I've unlocked a lot of the parts and stuff like that. I just need to level up so I can get the max on a couple of the vehicles, and then move on to do. Once I get through the story, I'll get the opportunity to do the really tough gold medal challenges and stuff like that everyone kind of want to.
The
I
time
want
update
to see
stuff,
what
yeah.
that's like. So I'm really driven to get close to the end of the story so I can kind of see what everyone's complaining about.
It was a good pun as well.
So,
Good job.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so we'll see how we go with that one. So there, nothing else to say about that though. But today, I finally got enough hard drive space to download Exoprimal. So
Oh.
that's been sitting on my queue for a little while because I'm trying to get that installed for like the last couple of weeks, or last week, or whenever it came out. So I wanted to kick into that and see what it's like. Have you guys played it at all?
No,
Did you
I've
play
seen a
the demo
couple of
or the
reviews.
beta,
It's
or?
been like I've been in my periphery as like I was waiting to hear a little bit more in the community around like some consensus on whether I should start it or not.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks pretty straightforward. Really, you're just going to be doing grindy stuff like killing 1,000 enemies with each class type and getting each class type to level 10. Because they kind of work. They have the battle passes and stuff like that. They've got like an overall ranking and then like a season pass ranking. But then each of the mech things have their own mini battle pass kind of. It's like their upgrade system. Basically, tiers 1 through 10 give you different unlocks, like a little mini upgrade panel. So it kind of, normally in a lot of games you don't really see what upgrades you get. You just kind of unlock something as you go, or you get tokens to unlock things. But in this, it shows you the tracks. You've got 1 through to level 10 for each of the mechs, and you can kind of see what's coming up in the line. So as much as I kind of I really like the look of a couple of those mechs in the season pass, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to go down that road. So for anyone that doesn't know, it's a 5v5 multiplayer game, and you basically jump into a match and you're playing like at the same time as the other team, but you basically can't interact with them at all. But you can kind of see their shadows as you're going through the map. So you're kind of gunning through and you're just defeating enemies and then moving on to the next section and defeating enemies. And there'll be different types of events as you go. Sometimes it's just it's all your typical stuff, like either kill enemies or hold the fort in a certain area around a crystal or something. And,
So PvV
well,
VE, right?
the first time you load up, they have you don't get a choice.
Yeah.
It just there's 3 options. There's PvP, there's random, and there's PvE.
Right.
So I haven't tried PvE stuff yet. I've just been doing the 3 matches I played. It was all PvP. But basically in the PvP mode, you're basically going head to head with the other team, and you'll complete a few objectives and run through a certain area. And then when you get to the end of your objectives. Whoever completes the objectives first get like some extra points, and then when you have the final run, you basically have something kind of like in Overwatch where you have to take like a vehicle to a certain point throughout the map.
Payload, yeah.
The
Payload, that's
payload,
got,
that's
yeah.
all right. It's like payload, one of the objectives is payload where you have to do that, or you get another one. Other types of things, like I was saying, where you have to hold down certain objectives in certain areas and move
right.
through different points. And then that's the head-to-head PvP, direct PvP access aspect to it. It's like that final section is you head to head against them, and when you get closer to the middle, because you kind of like start at opposite ends of the map, and when you get closer in, you can actually attack them and verse each other.
Right.
So it's kind of set up really nice. So where you kind of get to, it's basically a race to see who does all of the objectives first, and then you go into the PvP kind of action. So it's fun. I really like it. And the story is actually quite good. You don't get really any of the story in the matches, and you just gradually, like everything else in the game, you have like a grid, and it tells you as you do more, you unlock more. And there's this huge ass map of story unlocks and different little points on the map where you have to go through and unlock like family tree grids and stuff like that in terms of like how things
weird.
unlock. Yeah, it is very strange. Probably the only real gripe that I have with the game is the main character, your character that you play, does not have a voice.
Oh, classic
So,
voiceless protagonist. Yeah.
It is. But the problem is that, like, that character interacts so well with the other cast, and the other cast have really excellent story and voice and movements and interactions. They're all jumping around and talking to each other and all this kind of stuff. Your character's doing all of that, and his mouth's moving at the same time, but he's silent.
Okay, that's weird.
And it's just really jarring. And it's just
like they decided they were like, "No, this voice actor's not very good.
Yeah.
We're just not going to do his lines. We're just going to cut him out."
Well, you know the energy that the characters in the Outriders game have, like the main, it's that
Douchebags.
energy.
Yeah.
It's really, really good energy, and all you need is the main character to have a little bit of that, and to match it, and it'd be perfect. The story's really, really good. I like it. So the few matches that I played got unlocked a little bit, and it's nice. So. But yeah, outside of that, I don't think I had any more notes for that one. Yeah, that's basically my biggest stuff about that game. So
Are
I'll play
you
a little
just playing
bit
like
more
pickup groups with that, or?
it was just random matches.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Right.
so, but yeah, Bulbasaur in chat asks if I can do a bit, and we can totally do some together. I don't have you on my gamer tag or anything like that. So you just have to add me to if you want to do some, if you see me doing it. So, yeah. But yeah, outside of that, that's pretty much it. So it's probably going to be my next week too. So we'll see.
Sweet.
Cool. Yeah, I'm interested to check out X-Ray Primal. It's just I checked out Austin, which is Skill Up's editor. He's doing the reviews while he's I think he's on holiday in Europe or something.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting watching, like, almost a recommend, but can't at this current.
I mean, on Game Pass, like his thing was like, it's fine if you didn't pay $60 for it, which like Game Pass is probably not a bad shout for that.
It just if he's right about the whole, like, it takes the lowest common denominator and just puts it into, like, if there's a level 4 any match you're doing payload, I could see that getting really
well, I mean, out of the 3 matches that I didn't win a single one. I can tell you that. So, and it seemed like it was really close at the time. You think you're winning. You got like your initial objectives. You go through. You got to the end quicker because it tells you throughout as you go from checkpoint to checkpoint. Your team is ahead of the other team. And you basically start at the same point at the end where you switch to payload or whatever. And yeah.
Did you see anything about the 10-person raid, Keo?
No, I didn't even know what that is.
So in the Skill Up review, there was basically they did so much, like, 70% or 80% of it was like payload, but he got like to certain levels, and then it was like higher, like more difficult dinosaurs and different variety of bosses and all that, but then would get drawn back to that payload mechanic with the base level, and that's what made the game boring.
Right.
There was in a point 2 times in the game, which I think he played for like 10 hours, where he got thrown into a 10-person raid where you basically verse a massive dinosaur boss.
That sounds really good. Yeah, but
like,
I mean,
if they can make that the common gameplay for me, that's what I want to play.
Well, I mean, how much of the story? Maybe you have to progress a certain way through the
I
story.
think it was like you have to play a certain amount of matches or whatever.
Yeah. Because they do have in the achievement list a couple of things like that, like defeating certain enemies and stuff.
So
So some of them are just normal dinosaurs. But
Bob's also brings up it's probably going to be a game that gets a lot of title updates. That's my only real reservation about it. Like if I knew this was going to be a one and done list, I'd probably get us all together and we just fucking play it. But
I can't start this when Remnant 2's completable now.
That's a good point.
I can't do it. Well, damn, we started a Games of Gold event last week and nobody but me did Games of Gold. What is this?
What? No, hang on. I was saving the Games with Gold stuff for like this week.
Yeah, I was saving it for next month.
Okay,
sure. Because you were going on about doing it.
You're going
next
about
month,
August. It's still July, mate. Calm down.
I got it early. I wanted to
stop jumping.
Coincidentally, at the same time, the Xbox Cast does their event. So I'm in the middle of starting their event.
What
I've got a game
podcast
to
are you
do
on,
next
buddy?
month as well.
What podcast are you a part of?
I'm on this one, but
support the home team.
Well, I am. I'm going to be starting with Brothers A Tale of Two Sons.
Yeah.
So that'll be my first one. It's all installed on my Xbox 360, so I'll do that. And then actually I might go back and get my Dead Rising 2 completion on the 360.
Ooh,
because I've done the multiplayer in that. It's just good to go to get I recently finished the 1 version, so I can go and get that done too. So my goal with the Games of Gold event is actually, because I don't know if anyone that's not in the Discord won't know this, but I uploaded a 5-page list of games. It was like a personal list of Games of Gold, and I highlighted specifically in red which ones were not backwards compatible from before they made everything backwards compatible. So at a certain point in 2015, they said everything from this point is going to be backwards compatible. So the 20 or so games that are before 2015 that I've highlighted in red, or put N for no for anyone that's colorblind.
Thank you.
Because I thought that might be a thing. There's a Y for backwards compatible or an N for not backwards compatible. So if you look at those games, you'll be able to see what might be on your 360 list that isn't available to you. Like just through the one console. So they'll be my ones. Knock out those 20 games if I have them. And, all of this stuff is subject to who has them and who doesn't have them. So, if you downloaded them at the time. So.
Yeah, I think I've got, was it Earthlock? I think I have sitting there that I need to go back to. It'll be a really good one to do for this.
Oh, I need to tell you something about Earthlock after the show.
Oh, great. Okay.
No.
It's good news.
Okay, all right. That's good to know.
Anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna split my games up this week into 2 categories. There's games with Stubby, and then there's games of gold.
Right.
All right. So games of gold. I went back to Celeste. Man, Celeste holds up. Like is one of the best indies that I've ever played. Even with or without assist mode, just gorgeous. Music's great. Collectathon, but you're not rage quitting because the assist mode. Went through, I had like 60 strawberries to clean up, the B-sides, and the sea level. Sea level is ridiculously easy with assist mode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Celeste is getting a heap of attention at the moment. It's just had a physical Switch release. It's coming onto Game Pass. And
August 1st,
And it was just PlayStation Plus as well. So
nice, yeah.
So heaps.
So yeah, I definitely, like, Celeste was one of those ones that I'm like, I need to go back and finish this. I've got like 600 game score. It'll be an easy cleanup. Other than that, I've been working in Livelock, which I would have got completed today if it wasn't for one glitched achievement. I went through, did my 10,000 kills. I went through and repeated level. I think it's 2-1 is the crash site level, and it's very easy to like smash it out in like less than. Like a minute and a half, get 30,000 XP and just level your characters. So yeah, essentially all I had to do was level my characters, do audio log collecting, and the other last achievement I have is getting certain kills with certain enemies. I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to have to delete my save and then do Vanguard's audiobooks as well again. Because once you pick them up in the game, you can't pick them up again. I've got all 6 in my database, but the achievement hasn't unlocked.
You should be able to blitz it pretty quickly, though.
Yeah. I'm wondering if this is one of those ones that I can put on Xbox One again and see if that pops the achievement without having to do any work. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to be a long game to blitz through. But I'm kind of like, should I wait for somebody else to do it then? So then...
You do it at the same time with co-op. It's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. And then the other one, which I started on the weekend... So I've done moving out on Windows before. But I had Percy over on the weekend. And I'm kind of like... What's a really good game that we could like play co-op together? And moving out, all you need to do is, right trigger to pick up a box and then throw it.
Yeah.
So, me and Percy worked through like first 20 levels of the game, which is really good at the start. I knew that just being a 4-year-old, she wasn't going to help me get the optional objectives. I would have to rinse and repeat. So I did all my collectible, like I, got the Atari system. I think it's Atari's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting the game console, getting collectibles like the pets and all that. Got that all done. At the same time, here I am picking like 5 boxes, and she's just like walking around circles in the corner, like picking up one. It was very cute. It was very cute. And then we got to like. Like the midway point where there's like the factory levels and there's the doors. And there's
doors,
the conveyor belts.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. My 4-year-old grabbing every box away from me, going to the conveyor belt, the crusher at the end, and being like, flop, flop.
She's got a future in furniture moving.
I'm like, honey, that's destroying the boxes.
She's like, yeah.
And she's like, that's okay. And then Nikita just laughs over at us because it's just like me trying to explain, like, no, we need to put them in the back of the truck and all that. Oh, and she got so upset because some of the levels you can kind of hop at the truck at the end, and then your character will show up at the front of the truck on the next loading screen. Right. But if you leave without the other character, they're running alongside the truck.
That's pretty funny.
So at the start of the game, she's just like, no, Dad, you left me behind. It was very cute. It was very cute. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm probably going to pick up the DLC. I forgot how much fun I had with moving out. Like, just playing it. Like, just that overcooked really kind of... I'm keen for 2. I haven't checked out the achievement list, but there's probably going to be like an easy pickup for me.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it gets added to Game Pass at some stage, because I think, I imagine it got quite a bit of publicity.
Yeah.
I played through both versions of it. I love that game.
Well, they're getting published by Team 17 now, so I'm seeing it
I think the original one was as well.
Was it? I thought it was Blowfish.
No, I'm pretty sure the original was as well. Yeah.
Are you sure? I thought it was SMG and published by Blowfish.
Well, I've got it open right now. I'll double check. Developed by SMG, published by Team 17.
Okay, well, I don't know why it was Blowfish. Anyway, that's fine. At least I'm half right then. So those are the games, the gold games that I've been doing. I also started up Shadow Warrior. Man, there's not really any good guides.
Or
is it the first one?
Yeah, very first one.
The very first one, yeah. I think there's some Steam guides, I think.
Oh, they're well hidden. And I've gone through. I've seen a few video tutorials, but like the problem I'm having with the game is it gives the illusion that it's a linear game.
Right.
But then like you'll get to a door and it'll be locked, and then you have to like backtrack through the level trying to find.
I mean, that's Doom. That's just how those games work, right? That's
like they're very well hidden though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I was just like,
We've come a long way since those games, to be fair. But I mean, Shadow Warrior, like originally was like a Doom clone, right? That's what it was. It was a Doom clone with a guy called Lo Wang. Like that was the joke.
Oh, the jokes and all that are hitting, and like the combat's great.
Of course they are.
But yeah, there's a few like going back to the quest line discussion that you see the glyph on the door, you think it's like cast this thing on the door to do it. No, you have to go back to this fountain that says nothing about it to destroy it.
Yeah.
And I was confused, so I went to the Steam forums to find out. And like there was at least 5 or 6 different posts that had the exact same issues that I did. So yeah. Yeah, and then I'm getting quite a few people who ask me to play co-op games at the moment. Like me and Matt went back to do Halo Wars 2 the other day to try and get that.
Get through the archive. Still haven't done it.
Yep, still haven't done it, unfortunately. I very much think I'm just going to get that gold achievement in co-op and then just try and save scum it.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to do the same at this point.
I would much rather do it in co-op, but it's very difficult. Finish off the
That
Warlong.
reminds me, actually. I forgot to mention I did co-op Halo Spartan Assault with Avtos. We went through and got gold on all the levels. So.
I've been thinking about doing, because they did another one, right? It was Spartan Assault.
Spartan Assault
Strike.
Spartan
Yeah.
Strike.
Yeah, Spartan Strike, I think it's like Windows only, right? I don't think they brought it out on consoles.
Oh, no, I think they did.
Did they?
I think they might have, yeah. No, I don't know. I think the Spartan Strike one had progress across both. It was the same achievement list.
Yeah, it had like Windows Phone and PC, I think.
Yeah, so there are 2 lists, but then, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then, so finished off Warlong DLC, which is, we were 40 levels above the recommended level, and it was still tough. Tough as nails.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
You're right.
I will say absolutely, I think it's Inferno Strike or something, fire move. Just equip that, abuse the hell out of it. The DLC is pretty straightforward in terms of like collectibles. Other than that boss fight being as difficult as it is, I would say it's very short and sweet.
Cool. That's what I'm in for.
And the one thing I want to say to you, Matt, is keep in mind that you need to collect 3 different medals as you progress through the DLC. I had to go back and clean up. It like is a separate kind of collectible because it basically unlocks the hidden boss like kind of level, which you need for a particular achievement.
Cool. Yeah,
like just very easy.
I really enjoyed Wolong, so I'm pretty keen to do some DLC. I know they've got like 3 DLC plans.
Yeah, so September and December are the next.
Oh shit! Okay, that's pretty. Yeah, that's not too far away then. Okay.
Because I was just like, we're trying to figure out co-op games just to do until September, just by our time. But I'm going to be away for half of August anyway, so. Which leads me.
I may just wait till they're all out then.
Yeah, which leads me into the next thing. Load up Insurgency Sandstorm.
Oh yeah, okay.
This is just strictly online Battlefield kind of, multiplayer.
Yeah, okay.
It's okay. It's very mid, I would say.
Yeah, that's kind of what I saw, because I have it on my to play list, but
15, 20 hours. There's like achievements like get 3 headshots in a row, that kind of stuff.
Right.
A lot of the first achievements are like pretty quick and easy, and then it's just like getting your more difficult things. But yeah, we're trying to go through games at the moment. Like I'm wanting all co-op suggestions. I have another friend that's gonna hit me up for Man and Medan, so I can finally comment on those games.
That'd be great. Hey, I'd love to hear your thoughts on those.
Yeah, I'm interested because horror content. It's horror, yeah. Like it's proper horror.
It's like schlocky horror. Yeah. It's like movie horror. So it's very much like.
See,
they hit the tropes. Like it's very much like
movie horror though. So I want to try Man and Medan and see where I get with it.
Yeah, I mean, like if they essentially each of the 4 games are like different genres of horror. So the first one is like haunted ship, like spooky, like haunted ship horror. The second one is like witches and like kind of witches in like isolation town, a haunted town sort of thing. Yeah. The third one is spooky ruins and like underground ruins and stuff. And then the fourth one is like straight up Michael Myers slasher horror house, get away from the unkillable machine thing.
Usually
you don't have to play any of them. You don't have to play them in order or anything, do you?
No, not necessarily. No.
I think I'm going to play.
It's very much an anthology series.
Yeah.
But they I think in terms of like they learn about like the mechanics. Like mechanically, they get slightly better as the games go on, as they kind of realize some stuff works and some stuff doesn't. I mean, although the late Devil in Me is like super fucking buggy, unfortunately. But I really enjoyed all of them.
I'm keen to check them out. I'm trying to think of like any other co-op kind of games that we can do at the moment. Obviously, like Remnant 2 is the one that's on the very top of my list now. That's completable.
For sure. But yeah, it looks like it's completable. One person's finished it. So.
That's probably going to be like me, Brad, and you in September, right?
Yeah,
After
when
I
you get back,
from,
yeah.
Yeah, well, we're also working weekly on Warhammer.
Oh, and yeah,
With
Warhammer.
Brad, so yeah.
We're kind of
thing.
starting to get like a little bit of stride now.
Yeah, we haven't really mentioned it a whole lot because there's not much to say in those first few levels. So it's pretty straightforward.
It's essentially go through, pick up tomes, collect
hit things with a hammer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
our sessions are essentially 2 hours of. We get there at like 6:30 our time. We get in. I chuck up the video guide for whatever reason because I've been delegated. There's a few comments of like, hurry up and find the first tome.
Yeah.
No, I've accidentally found a Grimoire, which we've needed to collect once throughout the game for one achievement.
Yeah.
And then has no impact as far as I'm aware.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, when you're the first one that says, are we following a video guide for this or what? And everyone else says yes, you're automatically delegated.
Bullshit, I tell you. Bullshit.
That's hilarious.
It's very
Oh
rough
yeah,
around
you
the
spend
edges.
so much time. You're all playing different characters, and every unlock you get at the end of the levels, because it's all random RNG level weapon unlocks at the end. You will like 9 times out of 10 not find a weapon for the character class that you're playing.
Of course, why would you?
So yeah.
It's very rough.
Yeah, I gave that one a hard pass when it got brought up.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those games of just like, when we eventually get it done, it'll be like, cool.
Let's start the second one.
Yeah, like I do want to do Darktide out of all of them. Because once Darktide is fixed, I reckon Darktide will be a good game.
Still not out on consoles yet, though.
Nah, yeah. Last I saw, the PC version was pretty
rough.
Yeah. I'm hoping it is the case, though, that it does kind of get like extended Game Pass. Like, it doesn't
I get the feeling.
Yeah,
I get the feeling it probably will. That sounds like a smart.
Yeah, I mean, the developers were really optimistic about that. I saw an interview with Jeremy Penta, ACG. He goes by Carrick. I don't know if you guys seen his reviews, but he did some really good chats with I don't know the guy's name that basically ran the show making those games. That guy was super optimistic about it, and then as soon as ACG went and played the game, he's no, this is dog shit. It's not anywhere near what the quality that it should be, and he's really disappointed about it. So, but yeah,
that's the thing with the Warhammer IP too, though. I just slapping on anything.
You never know. Sometimes, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Space Marine 2, but like sometimes, holy shit, they just put out some absolute trash.
I remember like listening to Scalp talk about enjoying is it Bolt Gun?
Bolt Gun, yeah, I definitely want to play that.
Bolt Gun looks really interesting, and he's just like, the poor Warhammer community is just like, every time they get a game, it's just a roll of the dice.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that bolt gun game is supposed to tie into Space Marine characters as well. So
Yes,
if you're
it is.
interested in those, then I mean, I'm supposed to play Space Marine with Todd and another friend.
The original or the new one?
The original one, yeah. So we're all kind of going to go through and do that. So because it's got some horde modes and stuff like that.
Yes, it does. The horde mode stuff is rough, but it's really cool. But it's quite tough.
Yeah.
I mean, how many Warhammer games are there?
Well, I was going to say, I think Chaos Bane and Inquisitor were games with gold, I think.
I know at least Chaos Game.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13.
I did Dawn of War 2 back in the day for PC when it was games with gold. Oh, sorry.
I have that on. Yeah, I've started
Games with
that.
Windows
I'm
Live,
using.
sorry.
Yeah, I've got it installed. I just need to do co-op in that with someone actually.
Chaos Bane, Darktide, Space Marine, Chaos Bane Slayer Edition, Mechanicus.
Yep, Mechanicus. Yep.
Battle Sector, Space Wolf.
Battle Sector's not bad.
Quest. God, there's really not many people that have played Quest.
No.
270 starters. Anyway, cool. We should probably move on.
Yeah. Well, so I guess we'll start getting into some of the wrap up stuff here. So leaderboard for this week. So in third place.
Mhm.
Oh, excuse me. We have a Grey Shark with 20,975. Jimbot UK with 26,185, and Red 04 with 33,315, which is an insane amount. But it's interesting to see that some of our usual suspects, with Mad Eye and a few others, have decided to drop off. I wonder if they're out of GTAS now.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so some of our old friends there.
Did Red change his name?
Maybe.
Isn't it Red 047?
It might be a 47. Actually, no. Yeah, I think you're right.
It might have just left off.
I was just like, why is there a number missing? It's confusing me.
And then for completions, we had a few good ones. So the Moon's On finished up Jetpack Refueled, which is the big one. It's quite a tough one, especially if you're doing rare replay.
Yeah.
And hit 2,500K, which is
2,500.
2,500K.
Sorry,
Finished two games.
Yeah, sorry, 250K. So doing only 750K to go.
Mm-hmm.
Legacy finished the Spec Ops: The Line. The Tolinator finished up Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is a huge one.
Big games.
Yeah, congratulations on that one. That's a huge achievement. And Monster, our resident guy who writes long reviews, finished up Shadow Warrior 3, Frog Detective, and Tinykin.
Did you see the 2 new roles added to the Discord?
Yes, I saw you added some roles to him. Yeah, he changed his name in the Discord. So
I saw that.
So I added Monster to have what was it, like, review specialist?
A guy who writes long reviews or something.
Oh no, he changed his name to guy who writes long reviews.
Yeah.
And then I added questionnaire extraordinaire to Isaac.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Perfect.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were both well suited.
And then we've got our Discord, discord.i/Hall of Gamers, where you can hang out with our community. We talk about the show, talk about video games. That's where you can organize boosting sessions. And we also have the word challenge, everyone's favorite competition, getting some good guesses in. So normally the word challenge basically is I come up with a game, I set up our bot with a GIF with the title of that game as the command. And if you type in the right name of the game, GIF pops up, you win a prize. Normally that prize is like $20 New Zealand or something like that. This time, it is a code for whatever the game is. So if you guess the game, you win a code for that game. And each week, I've been giving away a clue. And the clues have ranged from being relatively unhelpful to being pretty specific. And we're sort of getting there. So the first one was that this game has over 1,000 gamer score. So it has some sort of update, DLC or title update. The second, last week, was that it has a jump mechanic. So you can jump in this game. And the third one is this game has a rating of less than 3.5 on TA, which is interesting because I was looking for kind of things to set, like ideas for clues. I was looking at the page for this game. I did not realize the rating was this low for this game.
So in other words, Matt thinks it's a really hard game and it's not. So.
No, well, I'm talking about like rate. No, I'm not talking about ratio.
I'm kidding.
I'm not talking about ratio. I'm talking about rating.
Yeah.
Just to be very, very clear.
Oh, right. The rating. Oh, I thought you were talking about the ratio.
The stars. So not ratio, stars. It's 3.5 stars out of 5. It's less than that.
So people think we're handing out trash on this podcast. Is what I'm trying to say.
People think we're handing out trash on this podcast. So that'll be a fun one. I'm very curious to see what some of the guesses are now with those caveats in place. So go forth. I'm not going to update the bot until the podcast comes out because I want to give people who listen to the show live and on the VODs a bit of a advantage.
Yeah, stop just going in the clues channel and just
stop spamming clues. All right, I want people. I want to see David in there. I want to see Bulbasaur. I want to see Keo. Come on, get in there and start guessing.
Yeah,
look, I stopped guessing as soon as I started hosting on the podcast because you know what was happening? I was making really, really close guesses. Like 3 times, I nearly won that challenge, and I was very close. And then, because it was a dead zone, nobody was making guesses. As soon as I made a really close guess, everyone was in there making guesses. So I kind of left it alone.
Takes us one.
Yeah, exactly. Line of thought, and
yeah. And it's not the witness. God damn it,
man! I'm gonna have so much fun. I'm eventually with this challenge going to do the witness because it was
one day it'll be the witness. Who knows?
Have you done the witness as a completion?
I've never played the witness.
That's what we should do. The game's gold. We should have a witness review, like spoiler cast.
you know the final challenge for that is completely randomized and you can't use a guide, right?
Look, as soon as I get that random challenge done at the end of the game, it's the last thing I have left in that game. There'll be a little surprise for it. So
Yeah, amazing.
Then we all play the looker. And vote on the better game.
And then we've also got our Patreon, patreon.com/HallOfGamers. If you want to help support us, the Patreon is basically where you can give us some money. If you listen to the podcast this long, then you know what a fucking Patreon is. We reinvest all the money that we get straight back to the podcast to help pay for Zoom, to help pay for hosting, for equipment occasionally when things break and that kind of stuff, or to improve the quality of the show, and also for our contests. So a huge thank you to Lee Howard, Mikhail KV, Natolinator, Bad Lefty, Admiral Awesome, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier 07, Mark B, Old Mate Clown, and McLovin Legend. Thank you guys very much. Without your help, we would not be able to run the show.
Thank you.
And I guess that's kind of going to bring us towards the end of the show. You can email us at hallofgamerspodcast@gmail.com or on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called now, at hallofgamerspod.
it's
Yeah, you can.
like two swords. Like
you can zeet us.
So
you can,
much.
yes, re-zeet our zeets. I don't fucking whatever.
You're talking about PayPal, yeah?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, X.com. Xvideos. No. All right, so Cameron, if people want to find you, what are your details?
All
right.
Shadowless Edge on X, on Threads, on Blue Sky, on Instagram, on fucking everything.
On Hive, I'm fucking mastered. And
fucking Shadowless Edge _ on Twitch.
Cool. Kia, what about you?
All right, so you can catch me on Twitch at Keel Live at Home doing my streams. I might not be able to play games soon if I have to sign in with my face using a phone.
Oh my god, yeah.
But you can catch the tweets that say that I'm streaming on Twitter at Keel Live at Home as well, and you can catch the VODs for the streams and some other stuff at HTFG Play on YouTube. So
cool.
That's it.
Fantastic. And you can find me on True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord, just Neomaster on pretty much everything. Same as always. I don't do any social media stuff, but I do love to chat on Discord. So especially if you want to chat some shit about video games, come say hi.
Discord is the best social media.
100% it is. Well, that's going to wrap up episode 87. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
See you later.